tour, Sharon, because they are fucking trouble. Big time trouble. Nobody would listen to me.
How did you know they were trouble?
Because I've been around as long as I have. You know?
Right. You know all these guys.
Yeah, and I just...
Why do they have a problem with Ozzy?
Jealous.
That's true.
Jealous.
You got it. I mean, you've done it all.
Jealous, you know. They support the singer of Iron Maiden. If he was to walk in here right now, you wouldn't know him, would you?
No.
And in actual fact, the bass player on that particular gig...
News not too long ago that Ozzy had been unfaithful, but I hear that everything is okay now.
Oh, yes, he's fine. He's fine. Listen, it's tough, you know, when you're an addict. It's like he likes too much alcohol, he likes too much drugs, he likes too much sex, he likes too much food. Everything is too much.
Right.
So it's tough for somebody that suffers with that.
The story of Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy Osbourne is one of the most turbulent, passionate, and enduring love stories in rock and roll history.
That's nice. So you worked it out, obviously. You talked to him about it and you guys decided, okay, it's fine.
It wasn't as easy as that.
No?
No, it wasn't.
Right.
But we worked it out after I got him glasses and said, my God, you do need glasses. Who would do that with that? So anyway, he now wears very thick bifocals and he's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh. All right.
For over 4 decades, Sharon has stood by Ozzy's side through every conceivable scandal, addiction, health crisis, and public humiliation.
That was so nicely done.
I know.
Oh, my dear.
Yes, you
okay.
could get 2 for 1 pair now, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, I'm curious, are you going to, sometimes in a marriage, when the husband makes a mistake, the woman will make him pay for a long time. Is that something you think is going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to make Ozzy pay?
Oh, big time. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like he has to go downstairs for 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
She has been his manager, his savior, his disciplinarian, and, above all, his unwavering support system.
It's like you say you like sex. On that.
From the moment she took a chance on a fired, drug-addicted rock star in the late 1970s to the present day.
Special guest with us, Ozzy Osbourne, and I'm going to let Ozzy introduce the lady who is on his right. Ozzy?
This is my wife, Sharon.
This is Sharon's first time ever on American television, and we're very pleased to have you both here.
Where she faces yet another emotional battle over his fortune, Sharon's life has been inextricably linked to Ozzy's survival. Her loyalty has been tested in ways few could endure, and yet, time and time again, she has chosen to fight for him, even when he couldn't fight for himself.
Sharon is like my soulmate. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I don't love her, sometimes I'm angry with her. Sometimes I'm crazy about her, sometimes I'm very jealous of her. Sometimes I want to fucking kill her.
The early years were perhaps the most chaotic. When Sharon first met Ozzy, he was a shattered man. Black Sabbath, the band he had fronted for nearly a decade, had just fired him due to his uncontrollable substance abuse and erratic behavior. He was drowning in alcohol and cocaine, with no career prospects and a reputation as a lost cause. Sharon, the daughter of notorious music manager Don Arden, saw something in Ozzy that no one else did. She defied her father, a man known for his ruthless business tactics and violent temper, to take Ozzy under her wing. Don Arden had managed Black Sabbath and viewed Ozzy as a liability, but Sharon believed in his talent and his potential for redemption. She risked her relationship with her family to become Ozzy's manager, a decision that would alter the course of both their lives. Launching Ozzy's solo career was no easy feat. The music industry had written him off, and his reputation as a drug-addled madman made record executives wary. But Sharon was relentless. She secured him a deal with Jet Records and helped assemble the band that would become Blizzard of Oz, recruiting a young, virtuosic guitarist named Randy Rhoads. It was Sharon's vision that transformed Ozzy from a washed-up rocker into a solo superstar. She orchestrated every detail, from the album's production to the theatrical stage shows that would become Ozzy's trademark. When Blizzard of Oz was released in 1980, it was a critical and commercial success, proving that Ozzy could thrive outside of Black Sabbath.
Well, I don't think Ozzy would have survived as long as he did had it not been for Sharon. I think Sharon, in many ways, saved Ozzy's life.
But behind the scenes, Sharon was fighting a much darker battle, keeping Ozzy alive. Ozzy's addiction was a constant, looming threat. There were nights when Sharon would find him unconscious, overdosed on whatever combination of drugs and alcohol he had ingested. She became adept at reviving him, at knowing when to call an ambulance and when to nurse him back to health herself.
The wife of legendary rock star Ozzy Osbourne says his quad bike accident almost killed him. Sharon Osbourne says her husband's heart stopped beating for nearly 2 minutes after the accident in the grounds of their Buckinghamshire home. Ozzy is still on a ventilator.
There were moments when Ozzy's despair turned suicidal. Sharon has spoken openly about the times she physically pulled him back from the edge, literally and figuratively. One of the most harrowing incidents occurred in the early 1980s when she found Ozzy standing on the balcony of their hotel room, ready to jump. She dragged him back inside, screaming at him, begging him to think of their family, of his career, of the life they were building together. It was a pattern that would repeat itself for years. Ozzy spiraling, Sharon pulling him back.
I love my husband so much more than when we first met.
I was a bad boy for many years.
The love has just got better, deeper, and we're blessed to have found each other.
The infidelity was another brutal test of Sharon's endurance. Ozzy's fame and lifestyle made him a magnet for groupies, and he indulged frequently. Sharon, who had given up so much to be with him, was forced to endure the humiliation of his affairs, some of which played out in the tabloids. In the 1980s, she discovered that Ozzy had been having a long-term affair with a makeup artist who traveled with the band. The betrayal was devastating, but Sharon stayed. She had invested too much in Ozzy, in their life together, to walk away.
Got to remember, Sharon is the daughter of Don Arden, and this was the tough guy of British music. The stories about him, legendary might be one way of describing it, terrifying. He took no prisoners, and there's definitely something of her father in Sharon.
Even when another mistress sold her story to the press in the 1990s, while Sharon was pregnant with their son Jack, she refused to leave. Instead, she issued an ultimatum. Ozzy would go to rehab or he would lose his family. It was a turning point. Ozzy chose rehab and Sharon orchestrated his recovery, cutting off the enablers in his life and ensuring he stayed on track. The 2000s brought a new chapter, the Osbournes.
Ozzy was famous. Ozzy had the Ozfest. He was well known. He was a rock star. He was in Beverly Hills. He was doing okay. The TV show completely transformed everything. Suddenly, everybody knew him.
The MTV reality show transformed Ozzy from a heavy metal icon into a mainstream celebrity, portraying him as a lovable, befuddled father rather than the Prince of Darkness. Sharon was the mastermind behind the show, recognizing that it could redefine Ozzy's image and introduce him to a new generation of fans. But behind the scenes, she was still managing his sobriety, still protecting him from himself. When Ozzy nearly died in a 2003 ATV accident, it was Sharon who rushed him to the hospital, who stayed by his side as he recovered from a broken collarbone, 8 ribs, and a neck vertebra. The show's production was halted because Sharon's priority was, as always, Ozzy's well-being. In recent years, Sharon's role has shifted from manager to caregiver. Ozzy's health has deteriorated due to Parkinson's disease, multiple surgeries, and the cumulative toll of his rock and roll lifestyle. Sharon has been his advocate, coordinating his medical care, researching experimental treatments, and ensuring he has the best possible quality of life.
You okay?
Right, yeah, let's do a practice.
She delayed her own cancer treatment in the early 2000s to prioritize Ozzy's needs, a testament to her selflessness. And now, in what may be the cruelest twist of all, she faces the possibility that Ozzy has rewritten his will to leave the majority of his fortune to his estranged son, Louis, from his first marriage. The betrayal, if true, would be a devastating blow to a woman who has sacrificed everything for Ozzy. The air in the Osbourne mansion was thick with tension when the documents arrived. Sharon Osbourne, the woman who had stood by Ozzy Osbourne through 50 years of chaos, addiction, and redemption, sat frozen as lawyers explained that the majority of her husband's $220 million fortune, the empire she had helped build, would not go to her or their 3 children, but to Louis Osbourne, Ozzy's long-estranged son from his first marriage. The room spun. Her breath came in short, panicked gasps. Then, everything went black. Witnesses say Sharon collapsed to the floor, her body finally giving out under the weight of what she could only interpret as the ultimate betrayal. Paramedics were called. The family descended into screaming matches. And in the center of it all was Louis, the forgotten son who had suddenly become the heir to the Prince of Darkness's throne. To understand the seismic impact of Ozzy's final will, one must first understand Louis Osbourne, the ghost in the Osbourne family history. Born in 1975 to Ozzy and his first wife, Thelma Riley, Louis was raised in near-complete separation from the rock star spectacle that would later define the Osbourne name. While Ozzy spiraled into fame, addiction, and his earth-shattering love affair with Sharon, Louis grew up in the shadows, watching his father become a global icon with a new family. There were brief attempts at connection, a visit here, a strained phone call there, but for decades, Louis was the son Ozzy barely acknowledged. Then, in the twilight of his life, as Parkinson's and a series of near-fatal health crises forced Ozzy to confront his mortality, something shifted. Secret meetings took place, apologies were made, and, unbeknownst to Sharon, legal papers were signed. The details of the will, leaked by insiders in the days after Sharon's collapse, reveal a staggering redistribution of wealth. The bulk of Ozzy's estate, including rights to his music catalog, royalties, and multiple properties, was left to Louis. Sharon, who managed Ozzy's career for decades and famously rebuilt his finances after his near-bankruptcy in the 90s, was reportedly granted a modest trust fund and their primary residence. Their children, Kelly, Jack, and Amy, received smaller, unequal inheritances, a decision that has sparked fury among them. But it was the exclusion of Sharon from major financial control that cut the deepest. For a woman who had saved Ozzy's life on multiple occasions, who had dragged him through rehab, who had stood by him through very public infidelities and humiliations, this was not just a legal document. It was an erasure. Sharon's reaction, according to those closest to her, has been a volatile mix of heartbreak and rage. After being stabilized by medics following her collapse, she allegedly demanded a full legal audit of the will, convinced Ozzy could not have been in his right mind when signing it.
I'm dying. It's a fact. There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person.
Her allies point to his Parkinson's medication, his history of cognitive fog, and the sudden reappearance of Louis after decades of estrangement as evidence of foul play. There's no way Ozzy would have done this to Sharon if he was thinking clearly, a family friend revealed. She's the reason he's alive. She's the reason he still has a career. This isn't just about money. It's about rewriting history. The fallout has been nuclear. Kelly Osbourne, never one to stay silent, unleashed a tirade on social media, hinting at snakes and opportunists circling her ailing father. Jack Osbourne, typically the peacekeeper, has reportedly hired his own legal team. And Amy, the most private of the siblings, has gone completely off-grid. Meanwhile, Louis has remained silent, avoiding the media frenzy. But sources close to him claim he has no intention of reversing the will. Louis isn't some villain, an associate argued. He's a man who finally got his father back at the end. Ozzy wanted to make amends. This was his way. Legal experts predict a brutal court battle ahead. Sharon, a fighter by nature, is rumored to be preparing a challenge on grounds of undue influence and lack of testamentary capacity. If successful, she could overturn the will entirely, but the cost, both financial and emotional, would be catastrophic. The Osbournes have always been messy, but this is a fracture that may never heal. And at the heart of it is Ozzy, now too ill to publicly explain his decision, his legacy hanging in the balance. As for Sharon, those who know her best say this is the one fight she never saw coming. After a lifetime of defending Ozzy from himself, from the world, she now finds herself fighting against him. And for the first time, she might be losing. The woman who survived cancer, infidelity, and the chaos of rock and roll may not survive this final betrayal. The papers call it an inheritance dispute. But for Sharon Osbourne, it's the last act of a love story gone terribly wrong. Through it all, the overdoses, the affairs, the relapses, the public scandals, Sharon has stood by Ozzy. She has been his fiercest defender, his most vocal supporter, and, at times, his only lifeline. Without Sharon, there would be no Ozzy Osbourne as we know him. She saved his career, his life, and his legacy. And now, as she recovers from the emotional and physical toll of this latest crisis, the world watches to see if this is where her story with Ozzy ends, or if her loyalty will endure one more trial.